This is an overview of an impossible foe, or more specifically Agatha. Now, this quest is only available once the Mage Tower is active on the Broken Shore. As you can see, for me it is right now. You need to speak to War Council of Victoria. You are given one daily free attempt at Agatha. Once you have used that, it then costs 100 nether shards per attempt. And essentially what this is a small scenario so you can unlock a skin for your artifact weapon. Now, this is a very tricky encounter and is very much a DPS race. Now, you do require, if I'm correct, approximately 800 DPS per second. That's including the damage you do to the adds as well to successfully be able to do this. Now, that would be approximately around an item level of 900 plus. I'm a little bit under, shall we say, so there is a high chance that I'm going to fail this, but I will cover the basic mechanics of this fight and what you need to do to be able to do it. Now, the first thing I'm going to cover is basically Agatha's two phases. Now, the phases themselves are actually very simple and very straightforward. In her first phase, she's only going to cast 3 abilities. In the second phase, she casts the same 3 abilities plus an additional 1. Now, in the first phase, she has, to begin with, the basic ability Shadow Stab, which is just her general sort of attack. There's nothing really you should consider in regards to this. It's going to happen. General mitigation applies. Obviously, if you can shield it, reflect it, block it, so forth, try and do it. But don't focus on it. It's not an important aspect of this fight. You then have Agatha's Fury. When an imp dies, Agatha will fire a projectile at the location dealing moderate damage. So what this essentially means is throughout this fight there will be a selection of imps spawning. I'll go into a bit more detail on the imp shortly. And essentially when you kill one, she'll fire obviously something at the location where the imp dies, and you've got to avoid it. And the final ability Agatha has in phase 1 is Dark Fury, where essentially Agatha will be surrounded by an absorb shield which prevents her from being interrupted. During that time, she'll channel spells that will have an increasing amount of damage to yourself. So you need to burn down that shield and then have the ability to interrupt the Dark Fury. So this will only occur once she reaches 100 energy, and 100 energy is something that she will reach with, if I'm correct, not the Smoldering Imps, I always get that one wrong, the Imp Servants, if I am right. I could be wrong. Now, there are 4 imps in this fight. You've got the Smoldering Imps, the Imp Servants, the Umbral Imps, and the Fuming Imps. Now, with the Smoldering Imps, these cast essentially a firebolt, and they're not too much to worry about again, but obviously if you get too many of them in this fight, you're going to have a hard time staying alive. You then have the Imp Servants. These usually spawn in sort of groups too. So I should also have covered that the Smoldering Imps usually spawn in groups of about 4, if I'm right. The Imp Servants will actually have the ability to heal Agatha. Now, this is a channel thing that you can interrupt. But when you interrupt, the actual adds will focus you. So it is important to generally understand if you're taking too much damage from adds, interrupting them to stop them from healing Agatha might not be your best choice, because the heal isn't amazing. I think I've seen it for about 100k tick per second, something like that, maybe a little bit less. So you might want to just stop one from healing, try and kill that, and then stop the other from healing, just to stop you from actually taking too much damage from the adds. Then you have the Umbral Imps. These make Agatha completely immune to damage, so obviously you're not able to do anything to Agatha while these are alive, so you just need to burn them down as fast as possible. And the final imp is Fuming Imps. These will essentially run to the player and cast Plague Zone when you interact with them, or I say interact, or you run into them. Now, these will leave a pool of this Plague Zone on the floor, which I believe persists throughout the entire fight. So you want to micromanage whereabouts this is actually being placed, because obviously if you get too many pools of this on the floor, you're going to be overrun really fast. And I forgot to also mention the phase 2 of the fight. Like I say, the phase 2 is only 1 spell difference, and the only spell difference is the fact that Agatha also has the Fel Lava Blast. Now, essentially all this will do is cause lava balls to spawn up here and travel down the map. So they're going to be starting in the top location, which is just up here, and traveling down the map. They do a significant amount of damage, so you have to avoid them. It's just the case of moving to the side. It's just a strafing game, really. And once you've done that, you are pretty much good. Now, that is the basic mechanics. If I'm also right, I forgot to mention that Agatha will teleport, and I don't know if it's something to do with an imp that causes her to teleport. But she definitely does teleport. I don't think it's specific to a phase. I think it is specific to an imp. But with that being said, I'm going to give this a go. Like, I'm more than likely going to fail this. I'm going to try my best. Like I say, my main focus now is pretty much the Agatha and the Imp Servants. I'll do what I can with the Smoldering Imps. I'll utilise my abilities such as Living Bomb. Meteor is definitely something that you want to consider for this. Obviously, I'm looking at this from a mage perspective, and this applies to Fury Warriors, Elemental Shamans, Outlaw Rogues, Fire Druid, Fire Mage, Feral Druid, and Unholy Death Knights. Now, again, I'm not sure if this build is going to be overly effective, but it's very, very much sort of like slightly single target as well as an AoE sort of build. So obviously, Living Bomb, Meteor, Blast Wave all play significant roles in this in regards to just burning down imps, and that is pretty much the key. You've got to be able to burn the imps down effectively, but at the same time do a significant amount of damage. I would say if you do have something like Rune of Power, probably try and get away from it, because this is a fight you will be moving quite frequently. I could be completely wrong with this. You might be better off with Rune of Power potentially, or Mirror Image, just to take some focus off you during this fight. With that being said, I'm going to give this a go. I'm probably going to die, and I'm probably going to fail it like I have several times in the past, just simply because I just don't feel like I have the effective sort of gear and item level to actually be able to do this. I believe people have my item level, and potentially even lower, so don't let that put you off. You are going to take a few attempts at failing at this to begin with, as fully expected, and always remember Flask, Food, and Defiled Augmentation. These are kind of key to be able to actually kill it. That it gives you that little bit extra DPS, especially if you're lacking. Right, so let's give this a go, shall we? So, not a great start. I couldn't really burn down the shield. It's probably worth noting to save cooldowns for that shield. Obviously, I'm not that well good. Well, the other flip side to that is I'm not that great at Fire Mage. But with that being said, I hope you found this somewhat informative anyway. Agatha only has those sort of two phases, so unlike a lot of the other bosses where you actually have to kill more than one mob, you literally only have to kill Agatha. I hope you actually have better luck with this than I do. If I do actually manage to kill her, there'll be a little eye in the top right hand corner with the kill video. And with that being said, I hope you found that useful, and I'll catch you next time.